It is a new dawn, a new age, a new beginning. And Tana and all of you can only breathe with the switchblade in my... Welcome to my new era!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of the PuroRegal podcast here on the Slam Fam Wrestling Network. I, of course, am your host, one of the hosts, Timothy Regal. As always, joined by my co-host, Mr. Gary, the leader of Ringside Chat, Mr. Gary Freeland. Gary, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Glad to get back in the saddle here and work on episode 3.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of shows as we had the new beginning in Sapporo and Osaka over the last couple of weeks. And I really feel like this year, New Beginning was definitely the name for these shows because this really did feel like a little bit of a soft reboot. Obviously, we know based on it's been a very busy couple of months in the wrestling news since literally it's hard to believe it's literally only been about a month, just over a month since Wrestle Kingdom, and so much has happened in the world of wrestling.
Especially in this 3 set of shows. It's once we get to the last night and what happened in the IWGP Championship match, I think really just, signifies this new beginning that New Japan is on.
I mean, should we? I'll just say this right now. Would you just like to proclaim me the master prognosticator that I am right now? That everybody thought I was nuts, but Regal hits the nail on the head at least for one night, folks. But we will get to that. But obviously, like I said, new beginning. The Elite are now gone, as all Elite wrestling has become more and more of a thing in the last 40 days or so. Elite are gone. These shows, obviously, we had some talent that wasn't on this tour. Some guys were taking a break. Some guys probably were meant to be on the New Beginning USA shows that unfortunately, thankfully, it does sound like from everybody I talked to that the people that went to these shows, they were really good shows.
You cut out for a second.
Did you? I was saying that all the people that went to these New Beginning USA shows that I talked to were really good shows. I know I talked to Doug, who went to Nashville. I talked to my friend of ours, Jason, friend of the podcast, Jason Thomas, actually went to the LA show, along with my friend Miss Amanda Jane, and then our buddy Court Montgomery went to the Charlotte show, and everybody said for all the trouble and obviously not having a lot of the Japanese-born talent on those shows, that they were still great shows. Plan was to get those guys on the line. I'm hoping, the rumor was that they said after the New Beginning tour, those shows would go up on New Japan World. So I'm hoping we will get to see those shows here fairly quickly and then get some guests on the line to kind of go over those shows. But obviously, since me and you haven't seen them, we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
But the New Beginning kicked off in Sapporo. Wow, that was February 1st?
Yeah.
That was a long time. Wow, that was 2 weeks ago. It doesn't feel like it was that long to me for some reason. It's been an insane couple of weeks in wrestling. But we'll just kind of go through the New Beginning in Sapporo Day 1 card. Opening match was Ren Narita versus Uemura. Am I pronouncing that one right, Gary?
You're asking the wrong person. I assume so.
That was a tough one. But no. I actually really, really liked this match. I think Narita's grown a lot as a performer. And Uemura, a bigger kid. Really interested to see. Obviously, with these young lions, you never know. we could be seeing the next Okada, and then we could have a guy who, like Yagi, who I loved, and unfortunately now the biggest one, Kitamura, departing New Japan when I thought that kid was going to be like a future world champion.
I think he'll land somewhere though. I would be shocked if he doesn't, pop up on, Big Japan or All Japan. That wouldn't shock me at all. I don't think he's done with wrestling.
Oh no, and it sounds like there was like an accident and there was an injury thing, and he actually wanted to go back to wrestling, and the New Japan doctors wouldn't clear him. It sounds like there's a whole lot involved in that, but yeah, I was bummed out when I heard that Kitamura no longer in the Young Lion program, no longer a part of New Japan, because I loved that kid so much. But no, I love Uemura, a bigger guy, a bigger size guy, obviously going to be a heavyweight. I gave this match 2 3/4 stars, which for me, for a Young Lion match, that's a pretty high rating. What do you think about the guys, the new Young Lions, not winning with Boston Crabs all of a sudden? We're seeing Narita. We're seeing Narita has the Northern Lights with the bridge, and then Umino doing the fisherman suplex, and these guys are actually getting pinfall victories in matches when normally they would all be Boston Crab finishes, and I think that's kind of a cool thing, and I hope that continues. They're maybe kind of just letting the Young Lions just have a little bit more to kind of add some more intrigue to those matches.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I think variation, some variety would be great for that, and I've enjoyed those matches a little bit more since they've inserted some of these different finishes, because while these matches are meant to be basic and to be just get them used in front of crowds and things like that, it's nice to see some variety and let them shine, their personality shine through a little bit.
Yeah. Up next we had Yoshida, Umino and Yoshida taking on Nakanishi and Toa Hanare. And we'll talk about these guys as I think definitely when we kind of save this conversation for Osaka. I'm really, really digging the Yoshida Umino team. This match, it's a Nakanishi match. I gave it 2 stars. And like I said, I'm not a Toa Hanare guy. I think I hate to say this, but I feel like he's really bland for me. They're just really, for me, there wasn't a lot there.
Yeah, like you said, typical Nakanishi match, kind of bland. I am with you on the Umino Yoshida tag team. I think that's a great pairing. Umino may be my favorite Young Lion if I had to pick one right now. I think he's really talented. I think he has a big future ahead of him. I'm really curious as to where they will send him on excursion. But yeah, overall, this match is pretty bland.
The other thing with Yoshida that people need to remember is this guy is technically not a New Japan Dojo guy. He is a Kaientai Dojo talent. So Taka brought him over to New Japan, and he is actually a pushed talent on Kaientai Dojo shows. So I'm really interested to see what his progression is and if he goes on an excursion and then comes back full time with New Japan, because I think, again, good looking kid, got a lot of size, and I'm always up for younger heavyweights that come in. Mm-hmm. But up next, first night of Sapporo, Tiger Mask and Tenzan taking on Taka and Iizuka. This match only went 9 minutes and 26 seconds and ends in a DQ. I gave it 1 star. As the tour went on, I got a little bit more into the story they were telling with Iizuka and Tenzan, obviously former tag team partners, and Tenzan trying to get Iizuka to go back to being the old Iizuka and actually being a professional wrestler. But yeah, this match, I gave it 1 star because it ends in a DQ in 9 minutes, and it was the start of the story. And we'll talk more of that when we get to Osaka.
Yeah.
After that 10-man tag, the Bullet Club team Taiji Ishimori, Chase Owens, Yujiro Takahashi, Tangaloa and Tamatonga took on Taguchi, Yoshihashi, Tomoaki Honma, Toru Yano, and Togi Makabe. Yano gets the low blow roll up win in about 13 minutes. This was a fun brawl. I gave it 2.5 stars. Nothing really to write home about, but the match itself was fine. I mean, did you take anything out of this one?
I was a little surprised Bullet Club lost. It seems like they're trying to keep them pretty strong right now, so to kind of take a loss, even though it was a Yano loss, was kind of surprising to me. But yeah, it was a fun brawl.
Yeah. After that, we had Shingo Takagi, Bushi, and Naito, LIJ in a 6-man versus El Desperado, Kanemaru, and Taichi. Taichi gets the win here in 13 minutes and 28 seconds. I gave this match 3 stars. It was good. It was a 6-man, and obviously setting up for the Night 2 events, which we will talk about at great length when we get to that. But Night 1, I think, and we're going to get to these 2 matches, that the next 2 matches I absolutely loved. 2 singles matches. First one, Minoru Suzuki defeats Sonata. This was a great match. Sonata, Minoru Suzuki, obviously really snug. Both guys, I mean, there were some slap exchanges in this one where I'm like, gee, I will never get tired of watching Minoru Suzuki slap people, ever.
No. And these two have such unique styles from each other, and they mesh really well. They have good chemistry. I'd like to see this, kind of continue, because I really do enjoy this pairing. And again, I'm going to talk about it a little later. I'm glad to see, Minoru in a position where he's kind of featured like this, because I do, despite his age, think he has some, gas in the tank.
Yeah. And I had fully expected they would just have Sonata win this with like the moonsault or something. Having Suzuki win with that Gotch style pile driver to really set up for the tag match that made him, look that much more dangerous, I thought was a great step in the match.
Absolutely.
Next match after that was, I thought, possibly the best match of the night. Evil versus Zack Sabre Jr. Again, 2 guys who you kind of wonder, because Evil's the brawler and you obviously have Sabre the mat technician. People forget one thing: Sabre can brawl when he needs to brawl. Mm-hmm. Sabre is a guy who is so well rounded, he can get in there and have a good match with just about anybody. And this was phenomenal. I rated this 4 stars. What did you give it?
I gave it 4. Evil is probably one of the more underrated singles talents that I think New Japan has. He always delivers in the G1. Anytime I've ever seen him in singles competition against someone on the same wavelength as him, he's always delivered. He's another guy that I think would be great at that intercontinental level if we could move Naito into the world title picture. Evil, I would love to see him get a nice long run with the Intercontinental title, or even the never open weight, something where he can, work some singles.
Never even throw the U.S. title on him, of course. Yeah. Well, did you see the news yesterday that unfortunately the visa issues have not been resolved because Evil attempted to get into the country. He was supposed to be working a shot here in the Midwest this weekend for a couple of companies and was turned away at customs. And I'm like, oh, that's gotta suck, because I know a lot of people bought tickets to that show to see Evil. I know some of the talent that is on one of those shows that he was supposed to be on, and I think that's really, really going to hurt them, because it's a fairly new company that is based in South Central Illinois that was bringing him in, and that's really going to, I think, hurt some of their momentum, because they're really trying to put on, higher quality shows, and unfortunately, like I said, he got turned away by customs, and it's like, damn it. Hopefully, let's just cross our fingers and hope that we get this resolved by April.
I mean, it was nice because some insight was provided in regards to why visa issues are happening. It's not that they don't have visas. I guess they don't have the correct visas. So hopefully the problem will be resolved because of that, because they don't necessarily have to start over the entire process, which can be lengthy. So hopefully they'll have it resolved by the G1. Selfishly, I hope they have it resolved by the G1 because I bought tickets to go to the G1. But yeah, I am definitely concerned. When I saw that, my heart kind of skipped a beat, just for the simple fact that it's, mid-February. It's not that far off, 50 plus days until the G1. And if they don't have the New Japan talent there, that show is going to really, really struggle.
That would be disaster, and I don't even want to fathom to think about that, of what that might cause. But after that was the main event tag team match: Okada and Tanahashi, the Dream Team, not Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine, the new Dream Team. No, that was Greg Valentine, Bravo. They're the new Dream Team, I guess. So I'm throwing out old 80s references to try to pop myself, and it's probably going to fail. So there's people just saying, who's Brutus Beefcake? But
it is Valentine's Day,
It is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Bring up the Hammer, man. Hammer probably still trying to get booked for autograph signing somewhere today. He's one of those guys. Tanahashi and Okada take it on Bad Luck Fale and the Switchblade Jay White. I loved this match. These guys definitely just went all out. 25 minutes. Jay White gets the win, working over Tanahashi's knee the entire time, and gets the win with a knee bar submission, which in the post-show press conference, he would name the TTO the Tanahashi Tap Out.
Which is fantastic.
You gotta love the bravado on this kid, man. I mean, I've been a fan of everything, but I'm just to the point where I'm a fan of everything that Jay does. I like the bravado of, what am I gonna call this move? I don't know. I'll call it the Tanahashi Tap Out because I just made him tap out, and I'm gonna do it again. No, this was a fun match, back and forth. I really liked that they, obviously played up everything, and they played up the knee. Okada and Fale always have good stuff. And the thing is, for it being technically a big show, this not the big show again. Technically a big show for New Japan. This just kind of felt like a Korakuen Road too. Other than the singles matches, nothing really on the night one show I thought to write home about.
Those two singles matches were really excellent. If you're going to watch anything from these two shows, make sure you catch those. And if you want to watch Tanahashi get tapped out, watch that tag match. But yeah, those two singles matches were fantastic.
Yeah, the last three matches are kind of what you can watch. Everything else you can kind of skip here. Mm-hmm. Going on now, night 2 again in Sapporo. Opening match was Toa Hanari and Yota Tsuji. Tsuji, another kid who fairly brand new young line. Only a few times we've seen him, but looked decent here. But again, it's Hanari for me. I gave the match 2 stars. I'm like, I'll be okay with it. He was okay. Hanari gets the win. Next match, Umino and Yoshida versus Nakanishi and Tiger Mask. I liked it when Tiger Mask was in the ring.
Yeah. This would have been a great match if you could have put Liger here. Obviously they do something way more important with him later on, but this Nakanishi stuck out like a sore thumb to me in this match.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we'll get. It's with like him and Tenzan. It's like, man, how much longer are these guys gonna keep going? I love the New Japan dads, and I love the fact that they're out there and they're working with the young kids. But it's like Nakanishi, especially, it's like the guy's a statue. It's like, what? Mm-hmm. And you go back and watch younger Nakanishi. Dude could move, and now it's just like, I know he's a trainer, and I know he's working with them and all that, but it's like, meh. But moving on, Third match, we had Ren Narita teaming with Tenzan to take on Taka and Iizuka. And once again, Tenzan and Narita get the win with a disqualification of Iizuka after he throws the ref down and pulls out the Iron Claw and hits Tenzan in the throat after Tenzan attempts to tell him to wrestle. Again, the kind of thing. And we'll go over that more, I think, when we get to the Osaka show, because there's a lot more to get into once we get into that scenario. But I gave that match 1 star.
You're being pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah. After that, we got a match that I actually gave this match 3 stars. Taguchi, Honma, Yano, and Makabe take on Tangaloa, Yujiro Takahashi, and Taiji Ishimori. The biggest thing in this match, we saw the disintegration of good guy Tama. He is no longer the good guy. Unfortunately, I was actually having a lot of fun with that.
I enjoyed it. I wish I would have kept rolling with that. It was just so insincere that I loved every second of it. It really made him kind of stand out to me. So to see him just kind of throw it away in this match was kind of disappointing for me, but I can understand why.
And a fun 8-man tag. Again, I guess the Osaka show, there's a little bit more to it, but not really doing a lot with these guys on this tour.
No, it feels like a holding pattern.
They're just kind of treading water on this tour. After that, we got the Dream Team, Okada and Tanahashi. And once again, Mom met Okada at the door and made him take his little brother Yoshi with him. Yoshihashi is in the match, taking on Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens. And surprise, surprise, Yoshihashi loses the match for his team.
He made it to the ring without injuring himself. So.
Well, again, we'll talk about that when we get to the Osaka show, because there's more to that too. But no, this match, it's like, why does Gato keep doing this to me? Why does he keep? Oh, Yoshi, what will I ever do with you? After that, now we're going to get into the top matches on this card. The first up, the New Japan Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title, Bushi and Shingo defending against El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. This match was phenomenal. Went almost 20 minutes. Shingo and Bushi retained the titles here. I've seen people actually call this the best match of the tour. So there are some people out there that think this match was far and away the best. I give it 4 1/4. These two teams just have amazing chemistry, and Kanemaru is a guy who I think really is becoming underrated. At the age that he is, he's still able to go really well. And I've said for years that Desperado is a guy who is, he's always going to be in that Suzuki Gun and the tag thing. I think he's criminally underrated. I keep hoping eventually he's going to put the mask up and do something where he takes the mask off, and then maybe that kind of becomes the catalyst for him to step up to another level, because I think these guys, all 4 of these guys, had some amazing chemistry in this match, and it was probably one of the better junior heavyweight title matches we've seen in a while.
Those are 2 premier teams, so I wouldn't really expect anything less from these 2 teams, and I totally agree with you in regards to Desperado. I would like to see him move into the junior heavy singles run, because I think when we talked about last time we were on here that combining the tag team divisions would, free up some of these individuals for more singles runs. Because, personally, I feel like if we're going to talk about thin divisions, that junior tag division is pretty thin, and the junior singles is pretty thin at this point right now. It's Ishimori and not too much else right now. They lost their, one of their biggest names recently. So Desperado, I think, is an opponent that could step in there and have really great matches with a lot of their juniors currently.
And it feels like the junior tag division, there's 3 teams.
Yeah.
They need to add something, add somebody. I don't know who's out there, but
or lean on their alliances a little bit more. You have they CMLL. A lot of good junior talent there.
And, we do have some Alliance shows coming, which we'll get to, so maybe we'll see something come out of that. But after that, the heavyweight tag team title match, Sonata and Evil versus Sabre and Minoru Suzuki. Again, phenomenal match. I gave this 4 stars. I was a little surprised. Evil and Sonata, I almost said Bushi and Sonata. Evil and Sonata retain the titles. I really, really thought they were going to give them to Suzuki and Zack here.
I was kind of hoping they would, for the simple fact of, giving Sonata and Evil some time in the heavyweight singles divisions that are available to kind of beef up those divisions. It was a great match. I think my only complaint would be is I wish it was a little bit longer. I think 5 to 10 more minutes would have really put it over the edge. But considering they had to follow that junior heavy tag match, they did a hell of a job. This is a really good match.
Yeah, this is one of those matches that it seemed like right when you would have kicked into that 5th gear, they took it home. And it's like a little bit longer, maybe just a little bit more high impact at the end. I think this could have pushed this match into like the 4.5 to 5 range. But yeah. Then we get to the main event. Naito versus Taichi for the Intercontinental title. Gary? What the hell was that?
I'm just glad they didn't switch. That's all. That was the only thing I was concerned about. I mean, I was 50-50 in regards to whether they were going to, flip the title there. They didn't, thankfully. I kind of like the idea of Naito making a run and trying to become, the double champion. He's been talking about that at pretty much every, press conference or interview, anytime a microphone's in front of his face. So to see him retain here was good. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least.
When I said what the heck was that, the match itself, and I actually thought the match was good, but the story going into it it's like, and maybe again, this is one of those moments where I wonder, has my brain just become so conditioned by American professional wrestling to not have patience? But so Naito comes out and he gets attacked by Iizuka on the ramp. And in the pre-show, they actually played where Iizuka had turned on Tenzan back many, many years ago, where Tenzan's all bloodied up. So you're kind of thinking they're kind of going to try to do a parody of this with this. But basically, all he does is just hold a chair over Naito's throat for what seemed like forever. And then they had Naito lay on the ramp without moving for what seemed like forever. And then they actually take Naito to the back, and Taichi's just in the ring. Nothing's going on. Taichi says, okay, count him out, declare me the champion, because he never made it to the ring. And they're going through that process. And, of course, Naito comes back to the ring, and he's, fighting off the doctors, and his shoulder's all taped, and, But this just went on. I think it was something like 20 minutes.
It was long.
And I'm like, I wonder, is that my brain just being conditioned by American professional wrestling to have the impatience to not wait this out?
No, it was weird. It was really weird. I don't really get it, especially with there's a piece that happens in Osaka between Taichi and Naito that we'll talk about when we get to that point. But yeah, this whole beginning of this match was kind of bizarre.
It's like, could you imagine Vince McMahon taking 20 minutes of a pay-per-view to do this angle? It's like, the WWE crowd would be like they'd get up and leave. It's like, and again, maybe this is the Western fan in me that just, has been conditioned too much. That it's like, what are we doing? But I mean, I like the story they told once the match started, where Taichi obviously had an advantage and he exploited it because he's a dickhead heel and he's, doing every dirty trick in the book to try to win the Intercontinental title and doesn't beat Naito. Thank good Lord God that didn't happen. I'm gonna get hate tweets now because people are gonna say, "You besmirched the Lord and Savior of Tai Chi." But no, the match is fine. I gave this, I think, 3.5. Once the wrestling started, like I said, they told a good story, but just the taking forever with the pre-match gimmick, it was like, what are we doing here? Is the show? I'm like, at one point, I'm like, is the show over? Like, are we just not having an event? But no, it's just like, what are we doing here, guys? But no, thankfully that did eventually end, and like I said, match was good. Naito played up the injuries, and then I gotta ask you something. What do you think of Kevin Kelly's call of Naito's finisher?
Different. Well,
I've seen people on Twitter that love it. I've seen people on social media that absolutely hate it. Of the Destiny and just going through the whole thing as he hits the move.
I think he's trying to go for that soccer goal thing, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's a little much for me.
He's trying to get a catchphrase over, and I think Kevin's the best in the game. So if Kevin's having a little bit of fun, let the man have his fun. He's also one of the nicest people you're ever gonna meet. So let the guy have a little fun with Naito. And if you ever notice it, he doesn't do it if it's a falsie. He only does it, I think, if he knows it's the finish. So, but no. After that, we went to the following Monday, February 11th. New beginning in Osaka, and now we're getting to this show. Obviously, I think definitely felt like a big show. Well, obviously, but this show felt a little bit more. Night 2 definitely was better than Night 1 in Sapporo. I would check out the last 3 matches if you're crunched for time and you haven't watched it yet and you're saying, what do I need to watch? Check out the three title matches. If you're crushed for time. But now we get to Osaka, and I think there's a lot more to digest here. The opening match, Jushin Thunder Liger, Satoshi Kojima, and Tenzan taking on Taka, Iizuka, and Minoru Suzuki. 13 minutes. Disqualification again, but here we kind of saw the full petulant of the story. Tenzan comes out wearing the Good Friends, I think is what it was called, the T-shirt for him and Iizuka, and basically telling Iizuka, no, wrestle me, you're better than this, and then kind of breaks down. Suzuki gets disqualified. And then goes to hit Tenzan in the head with a steel chair, and Iizuka stops him to a huge pop from the crowd. They pop huge, and then Iizuka turns around and hits him himself. It's nope. Iizuka didn't want him to hit him because he wanted to do it. Iizuka once again pulls out the Iron Claw. Iron Claws Tenzan in the throat. I mean, they're telling a big story, which is obviously going to lead into one of the shows that we're going to preview. The upcoming the first show of next weekend is the Takashi Iizuka retirement show, and it's going to be a 6-man tag with Tenzan. And these guys are, I'll get into kind of how I feel that story is going to go when we get into that. But I mean, other than that, what did you kind of think of this angle as it went over the course of the weekend?
I mean, at this point in his career, there's not much you can do. I don't mind them doing this little small story for him on his way out, if he's actually on his way out, which I'm kind of questioning if he's actually retiring. But I don't really have any strong feelings towards it one way or the other. I mean, it's been fine, something to do on the underneath of the card.
Generally, New Japan doesn't swerve, so if they're saying it's a retirement show, it's a retirement show. And so I think that's where we're going to go with that. Up next, a match that I absolutely loved. Sonata and Evil, the tag team champions, taking on the Young Lion team of Yoshida and Umino. I mean, I think this match may have happened in World Tag League. I can't remember a lot of World Tag League because most of it's forgettable.
Yeah.
But this match blew me away. What did you? I mean, we kind of texted back and forth about this match. Obviously, but yeah, you loved it too, right?
Yes. I'm a big fan of both these teams, and I think when they do come back from excursion, Yoshida and Umino are immediately thrown into that tag team mix. And they had great chemistry. It was a fantastic match. It really was. It kind of caught me off guard on how much I enjoyed it.
I love them kind of playing up the I always love the what Sonata is going to show up story, where it's, at first Sonata's acting completely disinterested, and Evil's like, come on, they're like, literally, come on, we can't lose to the Young Lions, and it's like, is he going to actually start to care? And they did just an amazing. I think it was Umino went for the fisherman suplex he's been using for a finisher, and then Sonata flipped out of it into the skull end submission. But no, I gave this match 3.5 stars. One of the better matches on the show, and like you said, I'm really excited to see what the future holds for both Yoshida and Umino. And you gotta wonder, is there an excursion coming for them, and where is it gonna be? We've seen the gambit of some excursions lately that haven't quite worked out, and a few that did. You always kind of gotta wonder, where you have Rev Pro, you have CMLL, you have Ring of Honor, you have Australia, where the guys could go. And interested to see where that goes. I always kind of hope for Ring of Honor, because when they were in the States, the thing with some of the excursions is some guys don't really go out and get outside bookings. Jay White is the one guy that actually did go out and get outside bookings, and actually appeared in Bola, appeared for Wrestle Circus a lot. And I know, like I said, especially if there's a couple companies that are friendly with New Japan in my area, if these guys are on excursion, it might be worth the drive to go down and check it out. I always kind of wonder how come Glory Pro never got the Tempura Boys when they were working for jars of peanut butter.
I would love to see them in Ring of Honor. I think the Ring of Honor really needs an injection in their tag team division after losing the Bucks. So, I mean, while they wouldn't be necessarily featured as a top team in Ring of Honor, I think they would give a lot of those teams that are currently there a hell of a match.
Yeah, absolutely. But third match in, we had the LIJ team, Shingo, Bushi, and Naito taking on Despy, Kinemura, and Taichi. This one went about 11 minutes. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was pretty interesting. It seems like they definitely closed the book on that story, because Naito got a pretty convincing pinfall victory here.
Yes. This is what I was referencing to earlier. I thought it was kind of weird. Naito was talking to Taichi at the end of the match, and I wasn't really sure what they were discussing. I thought that was kind of interesting, and I had saw some rumors on some other web pages in regards to maybe he was trying to recruit Taichi for LIJ, which I don't really see how that's going to fit, but it was really that was odd. And there was another piece here at the end that was kind of strange too.
I don't know if I could take babyface Taichi. That would just seem weird to me.
Yes.
But yeah, it's kind of one of those, where does Taichi go from here? I think we're gonna see him in the New Japan Cup.
Yeah.
And then I think he's right on the cusp there, depending on how much outside talent they want to use. Does he finally break the G1 barrier this year? Which that was a big part of his storyline post G1 and then into New Beginning. So I do think, especially with some of the departures, I think Taichi's earned a place in the G1, and I could think of, there's worse people that they could put in than Taichi. So
yeah, they could put Tama Tonga back in there. I'd much rather see Taichi in a singles role. To me, he's not bad in the ring. I'm just not wild about the character. I think in singles matches he would be perfectly fine, cannon fodder in the G1 to give people good matches and put them over. Tama Tonga, to me, over the last 3 years in the G1, I cannot think of one really strong match that he's had. To me, that's a wasted spot. I'd rather see him in a tag role like he's in now. If I had to pick between the two, I would definitely take Taichi.
Yeah, I think that's, and like I said, there's worse talent on the roster that you could put in. So,
Yes.
and I'm just gonna say it. If Tama is in this year, let's hope that, since they tried to tell a story last year in the G1 that just fell completely flat. Let's hope that if they do put Bullet Club guys back in the G1, that they actually work and don't just treat it. I get you're telling a story, but it's the G1, and that's not what. That wasn't a good idea, and I think they learned. I'm thinking that Gato learned his lesson on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, and this was kind of interesting.
So we also had the Roppongi 3K made a run in that 6-man as well.
I almost forgot about that. Yes, after the match, Roppongi 3K show up on the rampway wearing their black T-shirts, so we know that they mean business. Yeah. They grab the belts from Shingo and Bushi, and then after a little brawl, they run to the ring. They grab a mic. They make the challenge for the junior heavyweight titles. After taking this tour off, they got booed, which I think that shows to how over Bushi and Shingo have gotten. Shingo especially, that the crowd is actually booing Roppongi 3K. But yeah, it's just, it goes into the thing of there's literally 3 teams in this division.
Yeah, because who else do you work? I mean, this is where I would lean on my CMLL, alliance. You could bring in teams, even if it's just for one-offs, one tour, come in and work some matches and give some fresh, matchups. Because at some point it's going to get stale.
Yeah, we saw guys that were on the Fantastica Mania shows that I think could come in and do, and obviously you can bring in Dragon Lee all day long, every day, and I'm never playing. But yeah, up next we had Tomoaki Honma teaming with Yoshihashi. Oh, that's a team. Yes. Versus Chase Owens and Yujiro. Yujiro was wearing a new hat, according to Don Callis. That was a damn good looking hat, let me tell you.
He was wearing a hat?
He was wearing a hat. I know that. After waiting the entire tour, we finally got Peter to show up on the final night, and well, as Conrad would say, roll tide. Obviously I've made the jokes many times. I want to be Yujiro Takahashi when I grow up. You get to hang out with the Bullet Club, have 2.5-star matches, and get to hang out with women that look like that. No, I'd love to, like, that, if he ever comes stateside, that's somebody can we go out and get a beer? Can I just go hang out with Yujiro? Because I love that dude. I just think he seems like he's a legitimate fun dude to hang out with. But now this match, actually, I gave this match a decent rating. I think I gave it 2 3/4. Very good match. Showcased this Bullet Club team, and I think the big thing here, Chase pins Honma with a package pile driver, which I will say one thing. Should Honma really be taking package pile drivers?
No.
I cringed at that one. But no, Chase gets the win with the package pile driver. A couple things. Number one, that package pile driver has been really protected. If Chase hits it, he gets the pin. Also, this gives this team some momentum, and obviously Chase kind of taking the place of this. This would have been the Hangman Page spot in previous years. But Chase getting a couple wins on this tour. What do you think? Where are we going with Chase Owens?
Does he qualify as a junior? I don't know what his weight is.
He hasn't been a junior for a couple of years now.
Yeah. So this is where another argument could be made that merging these tag divisions would be great, because I think they would be they've shown so far as a team that they're pretty cohesive and they have good chemistry. I think keeping them in that role, I don't think breaking him off into singles is going to do anyone any favors. I think right where they have him would be great, and he would be great, mid-card tag team talent, and getting wins over teams like Yoshihashi and Honma and other, teams of similar ilk.
Do you think Chase and Yujiro get a run at the tag team titles at some point?
Why not? I mean, again, it's not a featured division per se. Can't hurt. I mean, it would be something different than the same, couple teams bouncing it back and forth. I don't necessarily know if I'd have them beat Evil and Sonata for the titles, but yeah, why not? They're more than serviceable in that division.
And I kind of going into the tag team division again for the next match. We had Tamatanga and Tangaloa versus Toru Yano and Togi Makabe. The return of the most violent players. Kevin Kelly put over that these guys were tag team champions in 2007.
Wow.
That's like a really, especially in New Japan terms where we are now, that's a really long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very different New Japan when these guys were World Tag Team Champions. But taking on the Gorillas. Gorillas got the win, 10 minutes. I'm kind of surprised that they had the Gorillas win this so easily. I figured they'd give the most violent players a little more in this match. But this really, obviously, you want to get the next challengers for the belts over. And GOD, like I said, don't want to see singles runs out of either of them, but they're great as a team. So I was fine with this. And obviously, we're going to get Gorillas versus Sonata and Evil at some point. Who knows when? I'm hoping that's not the match at G1 Supercard. I'm hoping they got something better. Maybe a Ring of Honor versus, who's the Briscoes are the Ring of Honor tag team champs right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it might be PCO and Brody by the time G1 rolls around.
Oh, because that is the match at the anniversary show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it wrong? I'd really love to see a PCO and Brody versus Sonata and Evil match.
Oh yeah, I would definitely rather see that than what's most likely going to happen. So
you mentioned Evil and PCO.
Yeah,
that would be insane. I don't see where God versus Sonata and Evil again just doesn't, especially if that cannot be your G1 tag team title match, because that is not very exciting at all, in my opinion.
It's just been done to death. They need something fresh for that. I would hate to see them just run the same. I feel like they've wrestled too many times in the last year. Let's do something different, something that's going to catch people's interest.
Yeah. No. Up next, we had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match, Taiji Ishimori versus Ryusuke Taguchi. Taguchi not coming out dressed as a rugby player here. I actually had to do a little research on this one because I knew there was some significance to those green overalls. And it turns out that during his days, I believe, in Dragon Gate, Ishimori was the leader of a stable that was a boy band. Yes. Essentially, they were the Japanese 3 count. Yeah. And that is what they wore. And so Taguchi came out wearing that gear for this match to kind of get under the skin of Taiji Ishimori, which I get a kick out of when Taguchi does stuff like that.
I honestly thought he was coming out as Luigi at first because I didn't get the reference, and then I was like, "What the hell is he doing?" Then Kevin Kelly mentioned it, and then I mentioned the reference, and I was like, "Yeah." I went and looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it now."
So that was quite fun. This match, I say it when we get wrestler Taguchi, he's great. I really, really enjoyed this match. Obviously, you knew Ishimori was going to go over. They were just going to kind of give him a statement victory here. And again, kind of waiting to see what the future holds for him. And the fact that they didn't announce an opponent for him makes me think we're going to get some type of a cross-promotional match at the G1 Supercard show.
Yeah, they had teased Ishimori and Liger at the end of this match.
Well,
they exchanged glances, and that's going to be on the anniversary show.
Yeah, that's on the anniversay show. So
I was kind of hoping that would be on the G1 Supercard, just to be able to see a Liger one-on-one match, and I think he could have, that's a name that Americans are going to recognize. But yeah, I think you're going to get some sort of cross-promotional match. It wouldn't shock me if it was Bandito and Ishimori at the G1.
I actually had another thought on that one. What about the Taiji Ishimori versus Jonathan Gresham?
That would be awesome. I'm a huge Gresham fan, so that would be right up my alley.
Yeah, as am I, and I think those two could really do some cool stuff together. But yeah, I think the fact that the Liger match, which after the match, obviously, Ishimori actually grabbed him and called out Liger, who was sitting at ringside doing commentary, and said, I want to beat you. I want to prove I can beat the greatest junior heavyweight of all time, to really kind of cement his reign. And yeah, we'll kind of see. I think the fact that that's announced for the anniversary show means we're going to get a Ishimori versus, somebody big if we get a junior title match on that G1 card, somebody from Ring of Honor. After that, we got the special one-on-one match. Bad Luck Fale taking on Kazuchika Okada. Once again, these guys have Okada and Fale great chemistry together. Obviously, Fale is kind of limited, but Okada knows how to work around those limitations, which you can say what you want. Okada can probably have a great match with a broom. But no, they played to their strengths here. We've seen this match in G1s and stuff before. But decent match. Okada, gets a victory here. I gave it 3 1/4. I mean, we've seen it before. What did you think?
Yeah, I had a 3.5. I thought it was a pretty solid Fale match. I like Fale a little bit more, I think, than most, even though, despite him being limited in the ring. I wish he had more Okadas to work with, because I do like watching these two kind of go at it. But yeah, it was, your typical Fale Okada match. Good, above average match.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll kind of see, trying to think of where Okada's future, especially with G1 Supercard looming, where is he going? If
you're to believe the dirt sheets and Dirt Sheet Dave, it's the IWGP Championship match, because as we had discussed before, the original plan was Omega and Okada, with Okada winning the title in Madison Square Garden, the first title change to ever happen outside of Japan, and that seems to be the tentative plan according to Dirt Sheet Dave. So that I don't necessarily know if that's what I would headline MSG with, and we're going to get into that here in this next match. But that seems to be, it seems kind of weird because it doesn't feel like he has the momentum to be in that match, but I don't know.
Well, we do have New Japan Cup coming up too, so
true. That's true.
But the main event of Osaka, the IWGP Heavyweight Title, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus the Switchblade Jay White, and once again, as I do my divinity pose, am the master prognosticator. I told you right here on this show that it was going to happen, and people said I was crazy, but obviously the rocket has been strapped. We are all breathing with the Switchblade, Gary.
This match was fantastic. It may have been my favorite Jay White match since he's come back from excursion. I guess the whole series of these, New Beginning shows leading up to this, the whole storyline, and Tanahashi doing a hell of a job selling the leg, even coming down on the entrance, you could tell he was, favoring that leg, that knee. I really enjoyed this match storyline wise. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh yeah, I went ahead and gave this match a 4.5 star rating. I had to temper myself, obviously, from going 5, but these guys went 30 minutes, 28 seconds. Just told a great story with Jay, beating on the knee. Tanahashi, just kept being the ultimate babyface, coming back. Tanahashi goes for a high fly, hits a high fly flow, then goes for another one. Jay moves. I can't remember what the transition was, but one of the things that I always say will make Jay really good is when you're able to have a finisher for a guy and he can hit it basically from anywhere.
Yep.
It always makes him that much more dangerous as a opponent, and they've really built up the fact that Jay can hit that switchblade out of just about anything. So Jay hits the switchblade, 1, 2, 3. Jay White is the IWGP champion, and obviously a lot of debate on this. Where we're going, what are we doing? I am all for this. Strap it up, Switchblade era. Let's do it all the way. What do you think?
So my only concern is that it's too early. I don't have a problem with Jay White. I don't have a problem winning this title. But to me, with a show like Madison Square Garden looming in the future, why not hold this match off until Madison Square Garden? If you're going to coronate this guy as your next, big Gaijin talent, why not do it in the, mecca of pro wrestling in America, in Madison Square Garden? Have him become the first person to ever win the title outside of Japan. Really, that's my only gripe with this, because storyline sense, it makes perfect sense, especially after those last two shows and how they set it up. But I do think it's a little early. If it was me, I would have probably waited even longer, way past the MSG show. I just don't think he's quite there yet, character-wise. In a couple years, maybe a year or so, I think he would have had, the little kinks ironed out. People are comparing this to the first Okada title win, but I'm more concerned that it's going to be like the first Naito title win, where I still feel like they're a little bit trigger happy with not wanting to put him over in this picture. But that's really my only gripe, is that it was a little early. But we'll see. They're clearly going with him, and now that they're going with him, I hope they go with him for a long time. I think it would be a monumental mistake to have him drop the title in MSG in front of probably easily their biggest American audience. I think that would be crazy, but that seems to be the rumor.
I think that you can, there's a couple ways you can go here. I think you at least have to have him defend at least once or twice or else it really hurts his momentum. Is it maybe a thing where something happens to Okada in the New Japan Cup, he doesn't win? Do we get a Kota Ibushi, who we didn't even talk about? Kota Ibushi came out during this show, announced that he is sticking with New Japan. Tokyo Sports reporting he signed a full-on 2-year deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So you've got him locked in now for 2 years. Do we see, that especially locking down Kota Ibushi for New Japan Pro Wrestling, that adds another player into the field that they didn't really have, because they never were going to give Ibushi a title run if he could literally walk out and say, I'm going to go wrestle guys in monster suits tomorrow, because I'm Kota Ibushi, that's what I do. Now that he's in a 2-year contract, do they say, okay, now we can put the title on him and get a run out of him as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion? So adding Ibushi into that mix really does kind of add another player, along with Tanahashi, Okada, Naito, and Jay, that is right there. And then underneath that, you've still got guys like Hiroki Goto. You've got guys like Will Ospreay that are still, especially Ospreay, who's still coming up, and I think you're going to see him continue to rise. You're going to see Juice Robinson when he returns, obviously. You've got Juice and Finlay kind of doing Ring of Honor almost as like a delayed excursion type deal is what it looks like right now, where they'll pop in for some of the New Japan shows, but primarily going full time with ROH. There's a lot of players, and credit to Gato. I think this is something that goes on. Credit to Gato for always having that next man up. That, okay, Kenny Omega just bolted. What are we going to do? Well, we don't have a Kenny Omega, but we have this guy. We have Jay White, who is red hot, over like wildfire as a heel. Let's go ahead and do this and help push him up to that level. Obviously you had Will making that slow transition into being a never champion, now being a heavyweight essentially. But no, so credit to New Japan for always having that next man up mentality, and we've seen it so many times, and people forget that first reign that Okada had was kind of a similar situation. Okada had just came back from an excursion and walked into New Beginning and challenged Tanahashi and won the title. So this is not the first time they've rocketed somebody right to a title. Heavyweight belt.
And people pissed and moaned like crazy when Okada won that title and beat Tanahashi in that match. It wasn't until that, that first title defense where they kind of bought in and realized, oh, it wasn't just Tanahashi that was taking Okada through that match. It was, Okada's amazing.
Yeah, and people, that was the pre-New Japan World era that a lot of people don't know a lot about, but when the company was essentially transitioning out of Inokiism into the era that we're in now, so they really, really had to change up a lot, and, and like I said, I always wonder, what if, and one of the ultimate what ifs is, because they were building him up, what if Fergal doesn't jump to WWE? Because if you watch that progression, they were building Devitt up to the point where he was going to be a challenger, and I always wonder what. And he decided WWE was calling, and he went, which it is what it is. And then we got AJ, which kind of, when AJ came in, that kind of changed, and that added another player, essentially. Kind of like what they're going to have now with Ibushi joining in as a 2-year contract and joining in the fold. So there's a lot to go on, and really interested to see where they go. But like you said, I pray that we're not going to do like a one and done with Jay here, because I think is there any chance that he holds the title to Wrestle Kingdom?
If it was me, that's where he would hold it till at least then. I think it's crazy to take it off of him anytime soon, even this year. Just let him run Rockshot over everyone. That being said, I'm not sure if that's what they'll do. I am really concerned that they're going to have Okada, take the title back in MSG. And while Okada's great, I just think it cuts the legs out from Jay White, especially when it's pretty clear over the last year and a half that he's someone that's going to be important to the company long term.
Yeah. Sorry, my screen popped up.
That's okay.
But no. Originally we were going to do these 2 separate shows, but we're going to give these fans, we're going to give the PuroRegal listeners, I don't know if we can call them, do we have fans? I don't know.
We'll find out.
But we since we kind of recorded this show a little bit later than we thought we were going to, and we're now essentially 1 week from today is the New Japan Road Korakuen Hall Takashi Iizuka retirement ceremony, and then followed by 2 of what have become interesting shows over the last couple of years, and I think this year really interesting to get to, Honor Rising weekend, where we see the stars of Ring of Honor, and we've seen the evolution of these shows on New Japan World even since is this the 3rd year for these?
I think so.
Where the first year it just looked like a Korakuen Hall show. Then last year they actually brought the Ring of Honor canvas and ropes and actually had turnbuckles instead of the ring pads. So I kind of hope that we're going to get more of that evolution as to make it basically look more like Ring of Honor. Kind of like what they do with, it's basically essentially what they do with Fantastica Mania, where they make it look as much like a CMLL. They don't have the barricades, and then the crowd sits further back so the guys can do the dives. But they made this last year look a lot more like a Ring of Honor show. So we'll get into this. First show up, it will be Thursday morning. All of these shows, of course, on New Japan World with English commentary. Opening match of the Iizuka Retirement show, we get Yuji. Oh God, I hate this one. I hate this name. Yuji. Yeah, I sound like Alex. Yuya Uemura and Jushin Thunder Liger teaming up to take on Taiji Ishimori, and the return of Robbie Eagles.
Which is awesome.
We were talking about that. What did you think of Robbie Eagles? Because I've heard a lot about this kid, but I felt like his World Junior Tag League run was okay, not great. But sometimes you wonder, maybe the second time around, maybe a little bit more familiarity.
I love him in PWG. What I've seen of him in PWG is great. So if you can if you can go and grab some PWG footage of him, go check that out. I think I chalk that up to, kind of first tour jitters, for a lack of a better way to put it. But I think this time around it will be a little bit smoother transition for him.
Yeah, so that'll be a really fun match to kick off the show, and I'm hoping, again, we need more juniors. Robbie Eagles is a guy you can throw in there. So more Robbie Eagles, the better. And I think obviously you're seeing him here. I'm gonna guess, especially since we have some departures since then, I'm gonna guess we're definitely gonna see Robbie Eagles in the Best of the Super Junior. So really interested to see what he does on this tour and going forward. Second match, we have Tiger Mask, Hanare, Honma, and Makabe taking on Yodatsuji, Ren Narita, Manabu Nakanishi, and Kojima. Yeah, that's a match.
Yeah.
You got anything on that one?
That's your normal, multi-man filler match that New Japan loves to do. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, and then the third match, and I'm excited because we're seeing a few of the guys that were off the last tour coming back. Yoshihashi teaming with Tomohiro Ishii. Yay, Ishii. Ishii's
Yes.
back. Thank the good Lord. Ishii deserved a break, though, to be honest. That guy puts his body through absolute hell. So good for Ishii to take a little time and rest. I always say, can you imagine being Tomohiro Ishii's doctor? What's that conversation gotta be like?
He's probably very wealthy.
Yeah, he's probably gets paid pretty handsomely. But yeah, him and Ishii and Yoshi taking on Shota and Yuji Nagata, making the come back here. Great, always good to see Yuji Nagata. I still love watching a Yuji Nagata match, and especially anytime we can get him and Ishii in there going together, I'm all for that because they're just gonna, be old school and beat the hell out of people. And if Yuji Nagata beats up Yoshihashi for a little bit, that's great too.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about this. I totally forgot. Yoshihashi ran in during the main event of Osaka, and as he's running down the ramp, I'm thinking the whole time, oh God, oh God, oh God, he's going to fall. He's going to fall again. Yoshihashi actually made it to the ring on a run-in without killing himself. So Yoshi's getting better. We're almost there.
I'm just waiting for that. I'm just waiting for that New Japan WWE crossover match between him and Titus O'Neil
God.
We can just. It's not even a match. It's just a running race down the ramp. Whoever survives wins.
Whoever survives. Next matchup, we have Sho and Yo taking on Desperado and Kinemura. Nice to see the obviously. I'll call it right now. You're gonna see Sho and Yo get a win here because get them over for the tag before they get the tag team title shot. Again, well, when there's only 3 teams in your junior heavyweight tag division, what do you do? Next up, Taka and Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Taguchi and also back from a little break, Hiroki Goto. Did you, while we're on something with Taka, did you hear there was a rumor that he was actually not going to be re-signed? Apparently, there was some tabloid thing in Japan that the company was not happy about. Apparently, may have been caught cheating on his wife, which people don't realize. For people that don't realize, in Japan, that is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
When Inoki got caught years ago, he actually self-imposed upon himself and shaved his head in what's the word I'm looking for? Shaved his head basically out of his face and actually worked Young Lions for a period of time. So yeah, there was a rumor at one point that Taka may have been gone, but doesn't look like they're gonna go that far. I know Shibata got punished at one point. Honma's been punished before, but yeah, that's something in Japan they take really, really seriously. So obviously a little bit going on behind the scenes there, but this match should be fun. I'm always a big fan of Goto. I think he definitely turns it on come tournament time. So, and again, nice to see him get a little break, get a little winless. I know he was supposed to be on the New Japan, one of the guys that was supposed to be on the New Japan USA shows that unfortunately wasn't able to get there. But okay there. Next match, this one's interesting. The one that really kind of sparked my interest. Killer Elite Squad, Davey Boy Smith and Lance Archer taking on Will Ospreay and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi teaming with Will Ospreay.
Kind of an odd matchup. I mean, I think it's going to be a great match because of the clash of styles, and I kind of like those types of matches. But yeah, kind of a weird tag team there.
And again, we haven't got the official word. Is Chaos still a thing? Is it not a thing? It seems like there's still the guys that are still affiliated to it, but is Tanahashi in Chaos?
It's weird. Yeah, I don't know.
It's very odd to see how they're kind of merging the gaps and going with different combinations while Chaos technically still exists. But no, that should be a really fun match. Kind of wondering what Davey Boy and Lance's future long term is. Obviously, Davey, the current MLW tag team champion, as part of the Hart Foundation. Do you see? I don't know if they're going to give them a sustained push because it seems like lately in the last couple years they're kind of in and they're out. They're in for a tour, they're out for a tour. So I don't know if we get a Killer Elite Squad sustained push at any time, but you really need them at this point because the tag team division is so thin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is just they're there for the job. Give Ospreay and Tanahashi a win. Give Tanahashi some shine back after losing the title. Yeah, I would love to see them in New Japan. I think their style fits perfectly with New Japan, but I don't foresee them being there much longer. Just in and out, like you were saying.
And then, of course, we get the Takashi Iizuka retirement match. It is Taichi, Minoru Suzuki, and the petulant Takashi Iizuka taking on Okada, Tenzan, and Toru Yano. I have a kind of a theory that I'm kind of stealing this one from somebody. Joel Abraham of the New Japan Super J Cast, who said that how this match, kind of what he sees in this match is Iizuka starting, same brawling, crazy, biting person, but over the course of the match, like have him basically regress into the wrestler Iizuka, and then because if it's his retirement show, some way somehow to get the crazy madman that doesn't talk out of it so that he can give the speech at the end and kind of have his moment with the crowd. So do you maybe see him turn on Suzuki? Do you does Tenzan finally wake him up at the end? Kind of one of those deals. What do you think?
I honestly think that makes perfect sense. I do have it marked down here that I think he's going to turn babyface, but I didn't have it, as fleshed out as that. And that, honestly makes great sense. And I think that would be perfect end to his career if that's what's happening here.
And then to a long career, great career. Like I said, if you've, as I've talked about before, if you've only seen the Iizuka that wears a mask and bites people and hits people with an iron claw, go back and check out some of that earlier Iizuka stuff. He was a hell of a wrestler, had some injury issues, and then kind of had to reinvent himself. But for a guy that is, I think, 53 or 54, and still in great shape. I mean, built like a brick. So, and always, I love the tradition of New Japan where they give the guys a anniversary show or retirement show where you kind of see and let them kind of have the moment, to be honored. Obviously, last year we had the Super Strong Machine retirement show that, I mean, even though unfortunately Strong Machine not able to wrestle, he never had his retirement show, so they gave him the one where, and did it in the really cool way with the 8-man where everybody wore the Super Strong Machine gimmick to kind of honor him. But no, I think you'll see something happen where Iizuka kind of abandons the brawling, biting, and becomes the wrestler and the real person towards the end, so that he can have his moment. But after that, starting on Friday and Saturday next weekend, we get Honor Rising. I know, Gary, we and you talked about this. Some really interesting Honor Rising cards this year. I'm really looking forward to these. We get
I kind of wonder if these shows were what was meant for the New Beginning and the USA shows. They definitely have that vibe about them. But yeah, these matchups look great. I'm very excited about these two shows.
And could this be kind of where we see maybe if you guys at least, even if they can't go full time, we'll get them in for some tours. Mm-hmm. Starting out on Friday night, we have, or Friday morning, I guess I should say here, we have Ren Narita going to take on Marty Scurll. Going to be interesting to see Marty for the first time in New Japan, coming in with his "All My Friends Are Dead" T-shirt. Which how have I not? Where is Pro Wrestling Tees? Ryan Barkin, man, where you?
They're on there. It's on there.
Is it on there now? Okay.
Yeah, it's on there.
I checked it. It wasn't on there a few weeks ago. I desperately needed "All My Friends Are Dead" T-shirt. I love the like him acting like they're wearing the "All My Friends Are Dead" T-shirt, and then of course on Being the Elite, legitimately Cody acting like Marty is legitimately dead. It'd be like, Brandy, he's not coming back. He died. It's like, what are you talking about? No, I've become quite entertained by that whole little subliminal back and forth messaging. After that, Shota Umino taking on Zack Sabre Jr. I'm wondering, is this the start of a trial series for Umino?
I think so. I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. got such a huge push last year up the card. I can't see why this wouldn't be, kind of a trial run for Umino to see what he can do against someone as supremely talented as ZSJ. So I'm really looking forward to this match.
Well, this is really going to see what Umino's got. Also, man, we didn't talk about this too. Umino showed up on this tour looking jacked. He looked big. He is definitely gone from we look like he's going to be a junior heavyweight to he is definitely a heavyweight now.
Yes.
So, again, really, that should be an interesting match, and I always like it when they give the Young Lions even with the tag match against Sonata and Evil, give the Young Lions a chance to get in there with these more experienced vets and see what we can really bring out of them. So that should be a phenomenal match. Up next, another good one. We have Jushin Thunder Liger teaming up with Jonathan Gresham. Dude, big up to Gresh, man. Big up to Gresham. So happy for this dude to finally get to New Japan. They're going to take on Robbie Eagles and Taiji Ishimori. I really hope that Gresham shows up in Korakuen for these two shows, shows out. We get him on G1 Supercard. We get him in the New Japan. We get him in the Best of the Super Junior. I think, especially in Best of the Super Junior, Jonathan Gresham is a guy who could just go out there and have some absolutely killer matches.
I've been kind of blessed to have Gresham wrestle in this local promotion near me. He is just absolutely fantastic in the ring. I saw someone compare him to maybe a youngish Daniel Bryan. I don't think he quite has the charisma of a Daniel Bryan, but in ring, I think he could go stride for stride with someone like that. And this match is going to be absolutely fantastic. I really think this is like a low-key match of the night contender right here.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about that. I'm really looking forward to this one. After that, we get an 8-man tag. Hanare Honma teaming up with the boys representing Lifeblood, David Finlay and Juice Robinson. They're going to take on the Gorillas of Destiny and the Briscoes.
Yeah, that kind of stuck out to me. I thought that was very odd pairing, which makes me kind of wonder if that's a pairing we're going to get in a match at the G1 Supercard, because I can't imagine these two heel teams really getting along with each other too well. Yeah, so I could see this kind of, spiraling out of control.
Well, another thing is, any chance we can get the Briscoes back in New Japan some more? Because I've loved their runs when they've come over in the last. And they haven't been over in quite a while, but when they have come over, they've always been really, really, really good in New Japan. And I know Mark in particular has been very vocal about the fact he loved working in Japan. So maybe hopefully something comes out of this, kind of them kind of teaming together, and we get some Briscoes a little bit more. And then, wow. Again, I'm looking at this one here. We have a never openweight six-man tag team championship match. Ryusuke Taguchi, Toru Yano, and Togi Makabe taking on the challenging team of Ring of Honor All-Stars of Delirious, Colt Cabana, and Cheeseburger. Of all the wrestling matches in the world, this one will take place. Wow.
And they've been pushing, on Ring of Honor television, they've been pushing this Shinobi Shadow Squad or whatever the hell it's called with Cheeseburger leading it. And it's neither Delirious or Colt Cabana are in this. So to me, why not go with the group that you've been working in six-man tags for the last 3 or 4 months in this match? I guess because of the name value, but this match, I couldn't care less if I see this match or not.
Why didn't you bring over Eli Isom and, oh God, who's the other kid?
Don't make me think.
I can never remember the other one.
Yeah.
But no, so this team, that just, could we get 6 more weird, different person? Although, let's be honest, Cheeseburger is over huge with that Japanese crowd from what he's been over before. Delirious is always over with the Japanese crowd. And then it is Colt Cabana, so.
It'll be fine.
And with Taguchi and Cabana and Delirious and Yano, and I just have this mental image of Togi Makabe just standing on the ring apron with his arms crossed going, what the fuck are we doing out here?
This is my life right now.
Yeah. After that, never openweight championship match, Will Ospreay going to take on Dalton Castle, and obviously we texted back and forth during the Ring of Honor show this weekend. There's a lot of rumor about where Dalton Castle is going long term. Obviously, still a little bit of time on that Ring of Honor deal, but seems like the writing might be on the wall here, and I think we're going to see Will beat Dalton probably pretty convincingly here.
I think you said this is an interesting match.
Oh, this should be a really fun match.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, you kind of let me in on that one. So, if you got anything you kind of want to add to the Dalton situation there?
So there's been rumors for months that he's heading to the WWE. There's a lot of interest there. I don't necessarily know if that's the best place for him, but it wouldn't shock me if he ended up there. He did 2 jobs on the recent Ring of Honor tapings. And he did a job on the recent, Ring of Honor show on Sunday. So it looks like he's probably on his way out. He's doing, his last tour of jobs, putting everyone over. It looks like they were going to try to split the boys away from him. They were teasing that over the weekend as well, because I would imagine they're probably staying. So I would not shock me if he showed up at NXT over even WrestleMania weekend. It wouldn't shock me if he appeared in the crowd. There's really no direction in regards to a potential matchup for him at the G1 Supercard, so I don't think that's a guarantee that he shows up there. I'm not sure when his contract is up, but I think it's just a matter of time before he ends up in the WWE. I don't think he's going to go to AEW. That's just my gut. That's what my gut's telling me, and it's sizable.
After that, we get ROH World Television Championship match. Jeff Cobb and Hiroki Goto. I'm super excited about this one. I know this is the Alex McCarthy special match of the night. Well, mainly because Jeff Cobb's in it. Let's be straight up there. But no, this is a match that you look at on paper and it's like, dude, this is just gonna be 2 big bulls going at it. These guys have faced off before, I think, on one of the U.S. shows? Was it a singles match or a tag match?
I think it was the singles. Did he not beat him for the never openweight?
The openweight belt? That's right. So yeah. I think here, obviously, ROH World Television title match. I think Cobb kind of returns favor. Or Do you have Goto win it and then maybe Goto wins it and then sets up a rematch at Supercard?
Possibly.
The thing where, Goto's beaten Cobb twice, so Cobb has to try to win his belt back. So that could honestly that could be an interesting storyline going either way. But no, they had a really, really good match at that. I think it was Strong Style Evolved. Or it might have been the Cow Palace. I can't remember, but I remember the match being really, really good, and I think I've two guys that are just great. So that's gonna be a hell of a match. And then main event for night one, special 6-man tag, Jay Lethal, Okada, and Tanahashi taking on the Kingdom of Vinny Marseglia, TK O'Ryan, and Matt Taven. Big for the Kingdom here that they put them in the main event. Against the franchise guys in New Japan on night one. Obviously, Matt Taven has been in New Japan before. He's been in a couple of World Tag Leagues. I think he was in World Tag League 1 year with Mike Bennett.
Yeah.
So he's been over a little bit before. But obviously for TK and Vinny, the first time that they've been to Japan, as far as I know, obviously, big thing for the Kingdom, and it shows the belief that Ring of Honor has in them. So, really, and again, TK O'Ryan and Vinny Marseglia, that'd be an interesting team for a World Tag League next year, don't you think?
Absolutely. I think so. They're a great Ring of Honor team. So, I would love to see them mix it up in Japan a little bit more. It can't hurt. Like we said, Japan's in desperate need of some tag teams, so they would definitely inject some life into that division.
Yeah, so then we go to night 2 again at Cork and Hall on Saturday. And we open up with the Young Lions, Yota Tsuji, Ren Narita, Shota Umino taking on Cheeseburger, Delirious, Colt Cabana. I mean, Young Lions versus Delirious, Cabana, Cheeseburger. I just say they give Cheeseburger a win here just because it's Cheeseburger and for what people love him. I will always have the lasting memory of Cheeseburger, got on that 10-man tag with the second generation guys a couple years ago at New Year's Dash, and they're taking this group photo, and Cheeseburger's like, "Oh, I get to be in this group photo," and Tiger Hattori just comes over and yanks him out of the photo. It was just the funniest little thing that they did. That is always going to be my Cheeseburger memory. New Japan. After that, second match, this should be fun. Toa Hanare teaming with Jonathan Gresham to take on Taka Michinoku and Zack Sabre Jr. Anytime we can get Jonathan Gresham and Zack Sabre Jr. in a ring together, the match those two had at Final Battle was an absolute mat wrestling clinic. So even in a tag match, I think these guys will have a really good, really fun match. So, I mean, obviously, we've sung the praise. You got anything to add there?
Gresham and Zack Sabre Jr. also. I want to say it was Defy or I always mix or Destiny. I can't remember which promotion it was, but it was actually better than the Final Battle match. Off the next time we're on here, I'll find out by then. But it was a fantastic match. Yeah, they faced off a couple times, and those two again. And if you're maybe you're listening to this and you just happen to be a young independent wrestler, go check out Jonathan Gresham's YouTube channel. He's literally doing free seminars on YouTube. Go check him out. He's legitimately one of the best guys out there today. Again, a match. I'm sure you're looking forward to this one. Robbie Eagle's going to take on Marty Scurll, the villain, going up against the old Bullet Club Jr. essentially going up against the new Bullet Club Jr. Mm-hmm. This should be. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of pomp and circumstance between these two. A lot of gaga because of their big personalities. So, but I do think this is going to be one of the sleeper picks of match of the night. If they give them some time, this could be a really, really strong match. Yeah, that should be a really fun, really good match. After that, we got Will Ospreay and Hiroki Goto versus Dalton Castle and Jeff Cobb. Obviously, we're kind of night 2. You're gonna get some stuff that night 1 builds into some stuff on night 2. Night 2, sometimes you get the stuff that is fallout from night 1. So this is the fallout from night 1. 2 guys that were in a singles match. We're gonna put them in tag. This should be fun. Will and Goto teamed up a few times. Dalton Castle and Jeff Cobb.
Do you think Dalton gets Jeff to dress up as one of the boys?
Oh God, that would be terrifying.
Was it last year where Dalton came out with War Machine as the boys in at one of the Honor Rising shows? I think
so.
It was last year. Yeah, where they came out and War Machine were the boys. Not as good as the PWG where Red Dragon were for a match. That was by far the best. But no, that should be a fun tag match. After that we get Shingo Takagi and Tetsuya Naito versus Vinny Marseglia and Matt Taven. Very interested to see any part with Taven and Naito. Because again, it took me quite a long time. I've really warmed up to Matt Taven. Guy cuts a really good promo, and I'm hoping they give him a mic at some point over the course of this weekend to kind of get himself over to kind of do his thing. But I think again, good solid tag match. Obviously, Ring of Honor putting the Kingdom up really high on these shows.
Taven reminds me a lot of Randy Orton. I don't know why. It's just his vibe, kind of his aura, what he puts out there. He kind of reminds me of a younger Randy Orton when Orton seemed interested in what he was doing. I really like him. I honestly think he's probably going to get the Ring of Honor title shot if they don't do title for title with the NWA. It would not shock me if they put him over in MSG as the champ.
Then we get the other member of the Kingdom, TK O'Ryan, going to take on Jay Lethal for the ROH World Championship here. Just seems that's a little bit of a lower end ROH World Title match.
Yeah,
it's going to be a showcase win for Jay, and you got to put the belt on the line at some point. Unfortunately, we do not get the Beer City Bruiser on the tour this year to come in to do some stuff. Hey, Bruiser was the surprise star of last year's Honor Rising, so.
And where the hell is Jay White on this? He's nowhere to be seen anywhere on this card.
That's a little odd that, Jay White not on these cards. So it's always interesting to see who is and who isn't on Honor Rising. I will say I cannot tell you how bummed I am that we did not use this as an opportunity to get Brody King and PCO in Japan.
PCO had visa problems. That's why he's not on either one of these shows. Yeah,
that's the deal. He could not get into Japan.
Sucks.
I know Brody Brody's wife just gave birth, so I'm assuming give him some time, let him stay at home, be with his newborn child. So maybe next year, can you imagine Brody and PCO in a World Tag League? It's like,
oh God.
PCO out there every night just killing people.
For himself.
I want PCO in everything, so...
Have you been seeing that bump he's been taking at every Ring of Honor show off the top rope? It's like the cactus stack, like somersault dive.
Yeah.
Oh my, and it's on that ring apron. It's crazy.
Yeah. And trust me, ring apron bumps always make me cringe. But we get a IWGP Tag Team title match. Why again? Sonata and Evil versus Tama Tonga Tangaloa. At least it's on Honor Rising, and which gives me hope that that's not the match we're gonna get G1 Supercard, because it's like this. We've done this match to death. It's been done. I would be. You notice they're in the main event in a tag team match for the Ring of Honor title. We conveniently keep the Briscoes and Sonata and Evil away from each other here.
Yep.
And is that something that we might play into? As in the main event, we get Lifeblood, David Finlay, Juice Robinson versus Mark and Jay Briscoe for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. Obviously, both these matches, what are you thinking?
I would not be shocked to see a title switch in either match. They're really pushing Lifeblood over big time. It would not shock me if they beat the Briscoes. That being said, I think the Briscoes win that match. I also think we do see a IWGP tag title switch and have Gorilla of Destiny go over, because I just have this sneaking feeling that we're going to see GOD and the Briscoes at MSG. That's just, I don't know why. I think it's just going to be a tag versus tag champion match, and that's where they're going to head. I don't really have any reason other than that weird 8-man tag pairing the night before.
That'd be interesting. That 8-man tag does stick out, and I think something's going to come out of that's going to lead into night 2. That's going to lead us into where we're going with at least one pair of tag belts for G1 Supercard. So it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, Honor Rising shows have been really fun the last 2 years, and I think this year definitely added intrigue with the fact that we're doing these shows and then, New Japan Cup and then G1 Supercard. So there's a little bit more potentially with these Honor Rising shows than there have been in previous years, because we know there's a big show that we're going to build to involving both of these companies. So I think we're going to kind of start to get the picture of where we're going coming out of it.
Yeah.
But anything else that we have not discussed that we're missing out on? Am I forgetting anything here?
Just Liger Ishimori in the anniversary show in March. And the new Japan Cup winner is getting the shot at Jay White for the IWGP Championship. I don't think we touched on that earlier.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we will be back we'll do a full preview for the New Japan Cup and then post-show coverage on that. We'll have a lot more coming up. Hopefully at some point we're going to get the New Japan USA shows, and then we will watch those and then get the people on the line that were actually there to give us the live in-person perspective. I will tell you, I haven't got it yet, but I do have a signed Killer Elite Squad towel signed by Lance Archer coming to me, thanks to Doug Ritter.
Cool.
Have I ever told you the story of my connection to Lance Archer?
No.
Okay, and I will tell the story of this podcast. I'm pretty sure I've told it off the chest, but in case there's some people that may not have listened to off the chest that are listening to PuroRegal, many, many years ago, it was actually of all things, the Ted Petty Invitational 2005. Why do I have so many shows involving the Ted Petty Invitational 2005? I don't know. But no, we were staying at an AmeriHost Inn and keep in mind, this is in the early days, we were still rocking flip phones in 05 for the most part. For whatever reason, in the hotel room that myself and Doug and Matt Ritter were sharing, you could not get a cell phone signal in your hotel room. Also, keep in mind, this was flip phones. We also could not get cell phone signal inside of the National Guard Armory where the TPI tournament was being held. So I had left my phone in the car the night on night one of the show. Well, of course, the Ritter brothers and a couple of IWA Mid-South wrestlers decided to take my phone and decided to call several people that were in their contacts, including Randy Savage, Conan, New Jack, among other, Jeff Jarrett, among other people. And then the next morning, they were scheduled to be a NWA No Limits wrestling show which was the Ritter Brothers promotion in Iowa. And they would normally use Ian Rotten's ring because they would normally run double shots with IWA Mid-South. This particular show coming up was not one of those shows. So they asked me to call the promoters of SCW Pro at the time and ask them how much of a charge they would have to rent our SCW Pro ring. So I go into the lobby to make this phone call. It is probably 9 o'clock-ish in the morning. And I make the phone call, and I pull out the phone and say, a friend of mine named Mark Storm, I hit his number, to dial, hold it to my ear, and it rings, and I hear, hello, and obviously a person who has just been woken up. And I say, hey, Mark, it's Regal. Ritter Brothers want to know how much it would cost to rent the SCW ring for their show. What? I repeat myself. Regal, it's Regal. The Ritter Brothers want to know how much to rent the SCW Pro ring for the No Limit show. Who is this? It's Regal. Who's this? Lance Hoyt? I literally just stand there for a minute and go, sorry, wrong number, click. Don't know what to say, so I literally, sorry, wrong number, click. go running down the hallway, fly into the hotel room. You motherfuckers! What the hell? What did I just call? They're both like propped up on the beds, just dying laughing. We switched Mark Storm's number in your phone to Lance Hoyt. So yes, Doug Ritter did finally, while wearing a PuroRegal t-shirt, he got pictures with Lance, he got pictures with Rocky Romero wearing our, there's actually a picture of Rocky Romero pointing at the PuroRegal logo. Thanks to Douglas. But Doug finally told Lance Hoyt the story of this rib, and Lance Archer signed a Killer Elite Squad towel to me that is coming my way. So
awesome.
he got a big kick out of the rib when we told him, when Douglas told him about it, according to Douglas. So yes, that is my odd rib connection to Lance Archer, for those of you who may not have heard that story before.
Wow.
But it has been we have been here for a while, folks. Like I said, if you haven't check out New Beginning, the night 1, night 2, the last 3 matches. Osaka, I'm gonna say watch the whole show. It was a great show. And really looking forward to these Honor Rising and the Iizuka Retirement. We'll be back, obviously, in about a week and a half to give you the reviews on those shows. Like I said, hopefully New Beginning USA reviews coming sooner rather than later. It depends on New Japan World. And then complete previews of New Japan Cup and then all that. I don't know about Gary. I'm having a blast doing these shows with you, so I'm always looking forward to it.
No, it's a good time. I really enjoy this, and I mean, it's nice to have someone to talk about these shows with, because it's hard to find people in my area that are into New Japan as much as I am. So it's been a really good time.
I've got friends. Obviously, I can get McCarthy to watch a New Japan match every once in a while. Douglas watches it, but it doesn't really. Douglas really doesn't want to do. Really wasn't interested in the podcast, but so I'm happy that me and you've been able to kind of hook up and get this and get deeper dives into New Japan than what I was doing previously. So, really, really thank you to everybody who is listening. If you have not, and I think we're up to 27 followers on Twitter.
Holy crap!
Obviously, I quote tweet everything onto my Twitter account, which has like 600 followers. But follow the show at PuroRegal Pod. Follow me at SCWRegal444. Follow the Slam Fam at SlamFamWrest. If you want to support the show, go check out, look on any of our Twitter. You can find the link to the TeePublic. I believe it's TeePublic/users/SlamFamWrestling. Pick up a PuroRegal shirt. We've got shirts for Off the Chest of Timothy Regal. We've got shirts for the Slam Fam Wrestling Network. We have a shirt for the Art Donovan School of Commentary. How much does this guy weigh? That was me and Alex kind of came up with that one. Slam Fam Wrestling on TeePublic, where we are just a t-shirt company. If you want to support the show, go pick up one of those shirts. You get to be a walking billboard for the show, and we get a little kickback from your purchase. So check out Gary. Obviously, you did tweet me at one point last week, so you are on the Twitter machine.
I'm trying.
Okay, but obviously, as Gary would also say, well, if you have not yet, if you're a wrestling fan, join Ringside Chat. Gary will approve you, and then you can chop up New Japan, WWE, everything with me and Gary, and the various other cast of colorful characters.
It's an interesting group, to say the least.
It is very much an interesting group. There was some tea being spilled this week.
Yes, there was.
But folks, this has been fun. We're gonna sign off here. Thank you for checking out the PuroRegal Pod. And we will see you in about 2 weeks.